This is a DeWALT 2000 watt jump starter. Also has a bunch of other features. Well, let's just run down the list. There's an air compressor built into it, 120 PSI. There's USB-A, there's USB-C. It's got AC outlets on it here. So if you want to plug things in and charge them, there's a power inverter built into it. And then it's got an alternator tester and of course, jumper cables to jumpstart your car. It's not cheap. If you're interested in one of these, use the link in the description to help my channel out, but around $200, $199.99 is the recommended price on this. And the reason I'm buying it is I've used a bunch of these little jump starters. Like I've been carrying these in my car and truck for a lot of years, and they tend to work when they're new, but then when you really need it down the line years later, they don't start your car and you're stuck. So I just wanted to get something that was complete overkill and then also get some other features. Like if you want to bug out or if you want to go whatever, have a picnic, you've got outlets, you've got just a lot more options with this. This one also has a light, which they don't mention on here. So you can also light up the night with these LED lights. So I'm gonna jumpstart 2 cars with it, and then we'll boil some water and we'll just see what we can do on a charge. And on the scale, this thing is not light. All that power means weight, 19.8 pounds. So these are our test subjects. This is a Jeep. This is the Z71 Chevy pickup truck. Both of them have old, weak batteries. They won't even turn over. Oh, that sound. Oh, no crank, but an annoying beep. See, the cords are pretty short. So you can't have it on the ground. You actually have to put it on the fender or in the engine compartment. I'd really prefer it if they were a couple feet longer. It's a very simple design. There's no on button. All you got to do is hook it up to the positive first and then the negative. You hear that beep? And then it shows you a flashing engine and 2 clamps, and that means it's ready to go. So here we go. So you can see how reluctant this Jeep is to start and idle. So I did a bunch of jump starts on it before moving on to the truck. So I started the Jeep 3 times. I had to keep getting out to unplug it, and then the engine would die and I had to just keep going back and forth. So after 3 jump starts on the Jeep, we still got a full battery, reading 13.1 volts, hooked up to the truck. And I'm laying it flat, so it's less likely to get sucked into the engine, and making sure that the cords don't get sucked into the belts. Now, I didn't get it on video, but when I first connected the cables, the little screen didn't turn on. It's supposed to turn on automatically, but it didn't. So I hit the light button to turn on the light, and then it turned on and showed me the jumper cables. And it started right up on the first try. And then I unplug it, negative first, and then positive. And I'm not worried about the terminals banging into each other and shorting out, because as soon as I unplug it, it stops sending power to them. And then you can see I've still got 4 bars of battery after all of this jump starting. Now we're gonna try out the tire pump. It just has a screw-on Schrader valve. And to use it, you push air, then you set the PSI you want. And then push air again. And that gives you an idea of how loud it is. I've muted it so I can talk over this part. You can see how quickly it's doing 1/10 of a pound here. So that gives you an idea of how fast it'll pump up your tire. Your neighbors aren't gonna love it, but it works pretty quick. The instructions say it'll automatically stop when it hits the specified target PSI. But on all 4 tires that I used it on, it got stuck at 39.9 when it was set to 40, and it just kept going and going and going, so I ended up having to turn it off by pushing the air button. I don't know why it didn't auto-stop on its own. So I've done 4 jump starts, pumped up 4 tires. Now we're gonna use the AC power. You can hear it whirring. So I'm gonna boil a liter of water and make some coffee with this thing. Now, if you know anything about power inverters and power consumption, you'll know boiling water takes a ton of energy. Right now, it's still showing 4 bars on the screen. So, oh no. Normally I turn this on and it turns blue and it boils the water, but it's given me a fault. So I think you can't boil water with it.
And the instructions say do not exceed 500 watts.
So let's try a light bulb. This is an infrared healing light. So let's say you're on the road, you want to get your infrared healing in a tent from this light. Whoa, I'm blind. So definitely enough to run a light bulb. You'd have to look up the specifications to see just what this thing can and can't power. So boiling water is too much. I'd imagine running a hot plate to cook food is too much, but you can definitely run lights off it, charge your phone, and do lesser demanding things. And I've still got 4 bars, even after all of that jump starting. And the only other thing I don't like about it is it's got this proprietary charger that's tiny and easy to lose. And you can see on this end, it's a very specific connector and it's very small, so easy to lose. I would have preferred something like a standard computer power cord, you know, one of those blocky ones with 3 poles that you plug in. A lot of other power stations, it's just like a basic plug that you can buy and replace or take off of a printer and put on. But with this one, it's a very specific thing that you can't lose. So I'll probably put this in a bag and tie it to the handle so I don't lose it. Other than that, I think it's pretty awesome. You can jumpstart multiple vehicles with it. And I expect even if it's been sitting in the truck for 6 months on half a charge, it'll still get you out of trouble. And that's really why I bought it.